September 25th, 2009. Herold would log into his Reddit account to create a subreddit forum called r/Carl Programming. On this subreddit, he would give free help and advice to people who wanted to become a computer programmer or developer. Not too long after its creation, his subreddit would start getting some traction, so he decided to create a blog called computerscienceforeveryone.com.
Welcome to Computer Science for Everyone. My name is Carl Herold, and I've been a professional programmer for over 15 years. In this course, I'm going to teach you how to begin writing your own computer software.
Here he would discuss programming and other computer-related topics. This would lead to Carl starting a YouTube channel as well, and he would go on to gain over 30,000 subscribers on the platform. CarlH was looked up to in the computer and programming community by his peers because he was so helpful to new and upcoming programmers. If you don't know anything about this field of study, it is definitely a hard one to get into, so any free help is welcome with open arms by everyone. Carl would often talk about enjoying quality time spent with his family, but this would take on a whole new sadistic meaning as things would begin to unfold. As soon as CarlH stepped away from the keyboard, he was an evil person that no one ever could have imagined. This is the beyond disturbing story of CarlH, the most hated man on Reddit. One of the biggest problems with communities like Reddit is you never really know who is on the other side of the keyboard. You can truly encounter some amazing people on any platform, but you can also run into some of the most disturbing people as well. This is the case with this story. CarlH did an excellent job at pretending to be a good human being. He was also super knowledgeable and helpful for those that were part of the computer community. Giving free and helpful advice in any field isn't something that happens often. Most people are always looking for ways to make extra money, especially when you are very knowledgeable on a subject like coding and programming. This free help made CarlH almost like a saint in his community, and he even took time to connect with people on a personal level. At one point, he was able to help someone steer away from committing personal harm to themselves. On July 26 of 2012, he was named Redditor of the Day, which was a very sought-after award at that time. If you look back at the story, it's almost like he was trying to hide his true real-life dark side by trying to do so much good for people online. Carl even started doing one-on-one training for people on sites like Skype so he could connect with the community even more. Things were looking great for Carl and his communities, but in November of 2013, things would suddenly go silent. For someone who was a daily poster like Carl in all of these communities, it was very strange for him to be inactive on all three of the platforms that he used. Most believe that he was probably sick and just taking some time to recover, or maybe he had a family emergency that was keeping him away from his computer. As time slowly started to move forward, those that were his followers soon became concerned for his well-being. They started frantically commenting on his YouTube channel and subreddit, but with no response from Carl. As the weeks went on and still no communication, people started to think something was seriously wrong. Little did they know exactly what was in store for them. Now, just a fair warning, the rest of the story is very disturbing. There was really no limits on what was unfolded in this case. The silence from CarlH was due to his apprehension in very disturbing crimes. This case would obviously make headline news, and people began to connect the dots, and Reddit users would begin posting links and videos revealing who he truly was. Once the story made its way around Reddit and other platforms, many people were deeply angered and disturbed about the true nature of CarlH. Carl Herold, along with Charles Donovan, were arrested and being charged in Alabama for the following 30 counts. CarlH faced 18 counts for his crimes of conspiracy to commit sodomy, conspiracy to commit sexual abuse, complicity, sodomy, sexual abuse of a child under 12, and aggravated child abuse. What made things even worse is that the child involved in all of this was Carl's own 9-year-old son. The FBI had received a few of the pictures that involved his son and were able to identify him in the pictures. Thankfully, they found the boy and these two monsters within a week of receiving the pictures and were able to bring this torture to an end. The young boy had been locked away for months with no interaction with anyone outside of Carl and Charles. Local police and the FBI stated that they had a very difficult time looking at any of these pictures when they were trying to identify the young boy. This had been the most disturbing case they had ever faced. Carl and Charles were set to appear in court on November 21st, but by November 3rd, Carl was found hanging in his own cell. Now, many would believe that Carl got off easy due to this disturbing nature of what he did to his own child. There is no way that justice could ever be served in a case like this one, and CarlH will forever go down as one of the most hated people on Reddit. Strangely, this isn't where the story ends. Saturday, July 2nd of 2016. There was a new post to Carl's subreddit by none other than Carl himself. He stated that he wasn't actually dead. He said he faked his death and was able to flee to Russia, and that he would start to host his website again, Computer Science for Everyone. As anyone would think, this post was flooded with hate comments and asking for proof that it was actually Carl himself, but he would disappear once again. Some believe that this could actually be Carl because there was no actual proof of his death. The only reason we know that he died is because that's what we were told. The more than likely scenario is that this was just some random hacker trying to have some distasteful fun. There was never any proof presented by the poster, and the page has been silenced ever since. What we can really learn from stories like this one is you never truly know who is on the other side of the computer or phone screen. A lot of people we do come across are genuinely nice people, but in between all those people you get someone like CarlH. He portrayed himself as a normal person, wanting to help those that were in his field of study, but once he shut down his computer and walked away from his keyboard, he was an evil, sadistic monster. This was a disturbing story of CarlH.